And then we have another picture released that was just kind of another look at the Knightmare scene, which is not a whole lot, but it's an interesting. It's just that there's more of it to come, more so than anything. I think is a bigger story here than rather than just the image itself, because the image is just like, okay, cool, it's Batman in a hallway. I don't know what else it could mean, but other than that, like, because I mean, was there even a shot? There was Superman walking down the hallway in the actual movie, like in Justice League. If you remember, like he drops down, but that was when Batman was already caught and tied up.
Yeah,
and it showed
But that
Superman
wasn't.
dropping down in a hallway. But
But that wasn't Justice League, was that? That was BVS.
oh yeah,
I
that's
don't
right.
think
That
I
was
don't think we got
BVS.
there was
Yeah,
none of the Nightmare sequence that took place in Justice League.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was
So
BVS.
that's the biggest. That's one of the biggest, like, I don't know if surprise is the right word, but maybe reveals from the Snyder cut promo stuff that they've put out so far is that we'll be revisiting that Nightmare sequence again in some form.
That brings up the question too, is like I'm wondering if this was actually initially shot for Justice League or if it's extended stuff that was unused in BVS that he's adding to Justice League. Since
that's
like you
possible.
said, there was no Nightmare stuff in Justice League. So that's also something.
I also wonder if it could be footage that had been filmed during BVS. I mean, I don't know how much of BVS got cut down or cut out in the editing process, and if they went back and pulled any of that footage while they were recreating this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I like this hallway reminds me of that hallway from BVS
It
where
really does.
Superman, like that's where I imagine this was from.
Sure.
So like, I mean, that obviously wasn't for Justice League though. That was
Yeah.
from BVS. So.
That's a weird putting it.
Plus, too, it's kind of like them having like the Joker in here, for instance. Too, it's like where does it necessarily even fit into the story of Justice League? You know what I mean? That's the hard thing to kind of pinpoint because, like I've said from the beginning, like it's cool that Joker and like Deathstroke are going to show up, but where do they realistically fit in or even be needed in any way, shape, or form? That's weird.
I think part of the problem though is like I think and I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to fit this stuff into because we have Justice League and you think that you have like, okay, that's the story. This is just going to be that story expanded. I mean, we're talking about like, I mean, Justice League. If you take out all of the stuff that Joss Whedon shot for it, you're left with what, maybe a half hour supposedly of footage that was Zack's that was used for it. So, and this movie is going to be 4.5 hours long. So you're talking about 4 hours. I mean, this story could be wildly different in a number of ways from what we actually saw in Justice League. I mean, which I'm kind of hoping it is. I really, that's, I mean, I guess my biggest fear is that it's just Justice League with a bunch of extraneous scenes just thrown in the middle that just drag it out and don't improve upon it in any way. So yeah, I'm really hoping that they have stripped Justice League of, only all but like a half hour of footage, and then they put that half hour back in where almost like, they're almost expanding Zack's vision of it with footage from Justice League as opposed to the other way around, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, because that's kind of like, to add to that, if you remember like the ultimate cut of BVS, it was like it was the same movie with just longer scenes. You know what I mean? And there was some added back to it, but it wasn't like cut any differently to make it flow any better, really.
They just like extended it.
Yeah, and then they put scenes back in the movie, but they didn't do anything to make it flow better or make like, not to
see. I thought the Snyder cut or the ultimate cut of BVS was 100 times better than the theatrical cut. I mean, there was stuff that just made absolutely no sense that happened in the theatrical cut of BVS. That at least with the Snyder cut, you got some background to. Now, still, some of the character choices and decisions that they made, like Batman being the Punisher, didn't make a lot of sense to me. But from a strictly like narrative standpoint, the extra stuff really made a lot of the decisions and other parts of the story come together a lot better than that. So I'm hoping I'm hoping that this will at least flow kind of like that, or
Yeah,
we'll see.
because like the Ultimate Cut is a better movie. It's just I don't feel like they did enough in it to really justify there being two different versions, if that makes sense. Like, because it's like all they did was put in the stuff that they took out, but it wasn't. They didn't cut anything else down or remove anything that
Sure.
maybe didn't need to be there, and that or just I don't know.
How much longer was it?
It was only like 30 minutes,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
but it
Which
wasn't.
I'm not sure why they made him cut it down anyway for the I mean, the theatrical cut. It would have made it like a 3-hour movie, which obviously is a long movie to ask people to sit through. But still, if the choice is making people sit through an extra 30 minutes or give them a movie that doesn't make a lick of sense because of you cut out important scenes, like ask them to sit there the extra 30 minutes. At least then they get the full story.
It's better than 4.5 hours.
That's
Well,
true too. And
it's
That's
ma-
crazy.
It's mainly the fact that and this is even more stupid of a reason, but the main reason the studios prefer them to be 2 to 2.5 hours is just so they can have more showings in a day.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
so that,
That
and
makes
that's
sense.
literally the only reason. Just because, like, well, we can make more money if it's 2 hours. Like, literally, it's like they don't care about it compromising the story all that much or the movie
Yeah,
itself.
That's
It's like,
stupid,
oh,
though.
we can show like 3 or 4 more a day, so that's a lot more money. It's like,
That's
well,
really stupid.
it is stupid because if your movie's like suffers from it,
Garbage.
you're not going to get those repeat viewings, and people aren't going to want to go out and see it in general because they're going to get all the bad word of mouth. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get the few extra dollars on that opening weekend before people have a chance to talk about it and find out like what the reactions are. But after that, you're just shooting yourself in the foot because
They're always-
you're the bad word of mouth is going to keep people away, and those extra showings won't mean anything.
it's stepping over what pennies to pick up dimes or something, or what's the saying? Stepping over whatever the hell that is. I forget
Yeah.
what the saying is, but that's what it is.
Good
pretty much.
metaphor.
Yeah. Ridiculous. But anyways, guys, question is, what do you think about? Actually, dude, I forgot. We didn't talk about the Joker picture. We didn't talk about the Joker.
Yeah.
I had it up here and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
What do you
what's
guys
this
think about
blurry
this?
picture?
Yeah.